Live from Break Free Worldwide headquarters in Houston, Texas. With your host, Jeremy. And B-Boy Moy.
Yo, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to episode 15 of another Break Free Worldwide podcast. I'm in the hot seat tonight because on tonight's show, our very special guest for tonight's evening, very special, is the one and only Jeremy. And the only reason why I say very special because this man nearly survived a death experience.
What's up, world? What's going on? It feels weird in this seat, man. I don't know if I like it or not. You're in my seat, dude.
It's all good. You look
Get
good,
out of
though.
my seat.
Hey, you should be happy that you're even alive and you're there right now. I can even
sit down in the seat, right?
So, so Jeremy, for everybody listening, everybody watching, tonight's a special edition. We didn't want to bring on a special guest because I think that, you're the special guest in what happened. In what happened.
Not just me, but we've had a lot of stuff happen. The truth is we've had a lot of stuff happen in a short week span. Me falling 20 feet onto my head is obviously one of the bigger ones, but we're going to detail a lot of things that have been happening. I know we've been highlighting a lot of guests, but it's time for us to be selfish and let you guys know what's going on in our lives and put us in the hot seat. So yeah, man, it's not all about just me tonight. But if you want to start, I'm gonna make
it about you mostly because, dog, last week. You scared the crap out of us. And then for everybody that's listening or watching, Jeremy went through a very bad accident. Literally just maybe minutes or an hour before he left work here at Break Free. He was outside doing some shooting, decided to go, right behind us and get on top of the building and do some shooting with our photographer, Julian, who's been, handling all our photography here at Break Free and a lot of the shows that we do. But fortunately, something crazy happened, getting in one last shot. And I'll let you kind of explain that, and then we can kind of go into detail. Because I know, like you said, there's a lot of things that have been happening here at Break Free. But, it's still a blessing to be able to talk to you, man, because I remember getting the phone call that day, and I didn't think it was going to be good. Honestly.
Yeah, so, I'll start from square one. For people, I know you explained a little bit. For people that don't know, Break Free is located in a warehouse unit.
Business park.
So, we're the only arts business in this business park. And what surrounds us is various businesses from like metalworkings to industrial.
Just very industrial businesses.
Yeah, and the business that I ended up dealing with and falling through the roof at was, I think it's called Global Industries Automotive Parts. Mm-hmm. Shout out to them. But I'll detail a little more. But really, really shout out to them because they came through in the clutch and helped me a lot. And I'm in debt to them and I owe them a lot. But I'll start from square one. So I've started teaching a new class. I started teaching again. Sorry, not a new class, but our Champions program is our advanced class here. And this was about 5:50. So to put it in perspective, it was 10 minutes before our class time. Mm-hmm. And I had some free time before then. I had set up. Everything was good to go. So Julian, our photographer and also an instructor here, I went over, for those that don't know, our worldwide headquarters where we shoot the podcast is 2 units down from our studios where the classes and everything take place. So I walked over to the studio. And I said, hey, Julian, let's go in the back and catch some shots real quick, just build some content. And we were walking, and to rewind back even further, we actually scouted this location of a business, about 2 businesses behind us, right? Because in this huge business park that we're located. We took some pictures at this cool spot that's kind of nestled in the back of it. But then we noticed that there was this ladder attached to this business that led up to the roof. And I remember when we did see that, we were like, man, it would be dope to get on the roof and take some shots. Yeah. And as soon as we said that, one of the business workers peeked their head out, and we were like, no, we can't do this. Yeah. And that kind of should have been the warning.
Wait, is that the time that
when we were all out there, right? Remember?
You remember, I just said, nah, we should not go out there. We should not go up there. I said, we got no business being up there.
Yeah, so, hindsight is 20/20. And in retrospect, maybe I could have used that as a sign to be like, don't do this. But we went out there, and then we kind of just winged it, and we're like, where should we shoot? And I don't want to put this on Julian, but I think Julian said, you want to go on the roof? And I said, yeah, let's go, let's do it. So with 10 minutes, we jumped up on the ladder and we got up there, and it's higher than the business that we have, I would say.
Yeah, because I think we're a little bit elevated.
We're located on an elevated plane.
Yeah,
right?
and then theirs is kind of more flat. It's flatter.
Yeah.
Not more flat, but it's flatter back there, and so I think that they are a little bit higher. So let's just say ours is roughly 18 to 20. I would say you're somewhere between 20 and 25 over there.
Yeah, and that's what I figured out the hard
Feet.
way.
Yeah.
I figured out the hard way.
But before you go into the story about what happened, so I'm gonna take this back. So we normally do shoots behind Break Free all the time. We're always trying to gather content, whether it's just photography based or video based. We're always trying to gather content. So we do this a lot. This is not nothing abnormal for us. This is very, very common, very normal for us to go out there and just shoot. Every time I've went out there with you, you've always tried to tell me to do something I don't want to do, right? I remember there's some trucks that are parked behind us, and you're like, hey, stand on top of the truck. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to stand on top of a truck. Why am I going to stand on top of a truck? First of all, the truck isn't mine. Two is like, I just don't feel like climbing on the truck.
Hey, I feel bad enough already, man. Why
so
you
no. I want to teach you a lesson here,
Shout
okay?
out to Create Your Escape Apparel.
CYE Lifestyle. So I want to teach you a lesson here. Is that
a hat lesson or a fanny pack lesson?
well, yeah, we'll get to that. Available at www.cyelifestyle.com. So you're always telling me to do things that basically I have no business doing. And I understand
I'm more the crazy one.
It could lead
let's just put it
to
plain
a cool
terms.
shot.
I'm more the crazy one.
I like to take risks too, but I just don't want to get shot. I'm on other people's property. I don't want to get shot, and let alone fall off of something, right?
Yeah.
So this goes back a little bit, and I've kind of said it to the guys all the time.
You said I have no place there. You said it
I got no
specific.
place there. I got no business doing things on other people's businesses. So carry on.
So yeah, we're up on the roof and we start taking pictures. I even took some pictures of Julian and MVP. If you could throw up, I got one shot from the photo shoot so you can kind of see what it was like.
Let's see
up
what
there.
this looks like.
Pre-fall, pre-accident, and yeah, ooh, that's a money shot.
That's on the roof. You're on the roof already.
That's pretty.
Yeah.
Hey, it might be worth it,
That
man.
is good.
You know that throw it up again. I look so good.
Man.
It might be worth it.
Wow.
I don't regret one thing with that one shot right there.
That's scary.
The Gucci socks, the bait.
It just it reminds me of those shots or those video clips or pictures that you see of people like right before they die. Like this happened right before.
That would have been the shot at my funeral if I had
Stop. Just go.
So there's other shots, but I just want to give y'all perspective. You know, that's not actually how I felt. I looked in that picture more closer to the edge. But for those that don't know, this business is huge. Like, I don't know the square footage of it, but it's definitely bigger than ours. And the rooftop we were on spanned, like, it was pretty far.
Yeah.
And throughout this business, and even in our business, which I came to learn and put two and two together afterwards, we have these skylights, right? Where natural light floods in, and we're able to get some, natural light that way. And these skylights are made out of plastic, pretty much. And I didn't know that until this happened, but we ended up doing the photo shoot. Again, this is 10 minutes before class, so we're kind of rushing things, but I take a shot sitting down next to this skylight, right? And Julian made a comment. I remember he said, man, this is dope. It's turned out good. And I was like, cool. All right, let me grab one more.
Wait, do we have the picture of you sitting on that skylight?
No,
we don't have that one?
I don't think I put it on there, but I sat next to it. He said it was a dope shot. I said, let me grab one more. He said, okay, cool. So he started fumbling with his camera. He's like, let me mess with the settings. So as he's messing with the settings, I start to, I'm just freestyling. I didn't have this in my mind. I'm like, let me grab one more. I'm sitting next to it, but then I put my weight on the skylight in the middle of it. And I remember I put my hand on it, and I pressed down on it.
So you do remember that?
Things start to get fuzzy around here, but this is what Julian told me. So
Yeah.
I know this is what happened. So I started to test my weight and put myself on it. And then what I do remember is the skylight giving way when I put my full weight on it, as soon as I put my full weight on it.
Right.
So I stepped up and I stood up on it, and as soon as I stood up, it just completely crumbled. And this is, again, where I don't remember the impact at all, but to put it in perspective, this is about 20 feet, 25 feet. We have the clip of it, actually, a low-res clip of it, and we'll show.
Yeah, before we show.
But before we show the clip, let me say that I do remember it breaking I remember the thought process in my head was just like panic mode, like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Like I remember being like that in my head, and then all of a sudden my instincts kicked in, and I tried to grab onto something, but there was nothing at all for me to grab. And from that point on, I don't remember the impact, and we could show the clip
Yeah,
now. Just
no, hold on. Don't show the clip yet, because I want to get into when that happened. I right before all this happened, I had just headed home. We had a good friend of ours, Jose, who was coming in town, and so he was driving straight in. So I had to go meet him at my house, and literally, I'm at home with the kids, and I'm there waiting for Jose. Beast Anthony calls me and is straight up freaking out, like so freaking out that I thought it was a joke, right? Because he's like, Moy, you got to get here. You got to come over here now. Something really bad happened to Jeremy. Something really bad. And I'm like, Anthony, don't. Are you joking? Don't play with me. Are you joking? He's like, no, get over here right now. And I'm like, what's going on? And he was like, Jeremy fell through the roof. And I'm like, oh my God, what was he doing on the roof? You know, I'm thinking our roof, like inside Break Free or something. Maybe you're climbing something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't really put it together. And he was like, no, dude, there's blood everywhere. It's bad. It's real bad. And I'm just like, I start panicking. I'm just like, man, what? Is this real? Like, what's going on? I don't know, you know. And then and he's there. He's inside the building, and I can kind of hear you. I don't know. You're waking up, and you said something.
Yeah.
You were like, I don't know, like, what the hell? What's going on? Like, you didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
And when I heard you speak, I kind of knew that you were going to be okay. But you know, when you suffer head trauma, you really don't know. You know, things can. You know, you can feel like everything's going to be okay instantly, then things can suddenly turn.
It's a waiting game.
Yeah, and the amount of blood they were describing that was all over the floor. And I heard like right as you were waking up, 3 or 4 people had to hold you down.
Trying to get up, yeah.
That you were trying to get up. And not only that, you know, I also heard that when you fell, you kind of went into like a seizure or some type of like convulsions or something.
Let's show the video, and then I'll kind of go into what happened afterwards. So MVP,
see if we got that video.
It's still unreal to watch this, and if you're tuning in to Apple Podcasts or Spotify Podcasts, you can go to my Instagram to watch this, Jeremy Havicoro.
All right, so what's going on here?
The video's a little zoomed in. But yeah, if you're just tuning in.
There we go.
This is my fall recently.
So you it's kind of a weird angle, but you got to see kind of to the right corner. Whoa.
Yeah. Can you replay that one more time? So you see everything happens so quickly. Again, this is 25 feet. I hit the rail on the right side first. Then I land on my right side. Boom, boom.
Wow. I mean, just looking at that clip, it's
like a rag doll,
it's
bro.
Freaky. Yeah, you're a rag doll.
Yeah. So I recall falling through. I recall vaguely seeing everything beneath me and trying to gauge if there's anything I can grab to save me, and it just didn't work. You know, I hit the rail, and in retrospect, the rail kind of helped me.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would have been a straight fall down.
Yeah.
So the rail hit me, and I kind of fell to my right side, and
yeah, it looks like as you were coming down, your left leg got caught in the rail, and it kind of broke your fall a little bit. And it looks like you were leaning towards your right, and maybe the right side of your body took the impact.
Yeah. So let me continue the story further into what happened and to what I remember. So. Memory's still a little fuzzy, of course. I don't remember the impact, but from what I was told afterwards, I was unconscious. Now, the workers have said different things, but what I know is accurate is Julian, who was on the roof, ran down, and he went to go grab people from here. So he grabbed Anthony, and then Anthony came over, and Anthony said that was about 2 to 4 minutes. And when he came and he walked in, I was conscious already. So I think I was knocked out for probably about 2 to 3 minutes, and then I woke up, and Anthony said when I did wake up, I was violent, like I was belligerent, like I was like, what the hell is going on? Who are you? Like I was trying to get them off of me. I just didn't know what was going on, you know? And then when Anthony came in, this is where memory starts to come in a little bit. I remember, you know, being on the floor and Anthony coming in and me being like, yo, Beast, what's going on? What's going on? Like Anthony was my person I recognized, so he kind of snapped things to me, and I started asking him, and I remember asking for my wife. I was like, where's Kelly? He said, call Kelly, please, and we need to get a hold of Kelly. So I really started to remember things, start to become vivid is when I get into the EMT. So from the perspective of the workers, they saw me fall, they saw everything happen, they came over, a couple of the workers rushed over to help me. who I'm really thankful for them being there and helping me get through things. And, when I woke up, I was kind of like on 10 already. I wanted to get up and see what was going on, but they held me back. They knew I hit my head. There was blood everywhere. On the right side of my head is where I pretty much made impact besides the right part of my body. But again, things started to get vivid when I'm in EMT and they start asking me things like, who's the president? What day is it? When's your birthday? Like trying to test my memory. And I remember I was getting things right. And so I remember them saying, I heard them over the speaker or the phone or whatever, his memory's good, rushing him, laceration on his head. I had a huge headache, my whole right side ached. I couldn't really get up. Of course, they had me down on the stretcher. Then I get to the hospital. They rushed me to the ER. I remember like going through the hallways, and I remember eyes just being on me like throughout the hospital, and them asking like, what happened? He fell 20 feet, he fell 25. We got to get him there. We got to get him to the ER. And they cut my clothes off. I was wearing a hoodie and my pants, like one of my favorite hoodies that I made, that I designed. And they didn't want to get me off the stretcher, so they couldn't do it. So they just straight cut up the middle, which I'm kind of sad about. But I'm gonna sew it back together in a fresher way. And then they cut my pants off. And just started asking questions. What happened? If I remember things, And then they rushed me to a CT scan because I had an injury, and that's a CAT scan for those who don't know, to test if I have any signs of a concussion or anything. And everything came back positive. You visited me at the hospital. Jose visited me at the hospital. My family visited me at the hospital.
And they let you go that night.
And they discharged me that night. Put 7 staples in my head. Said that my CT scan came back negative, thankfully. They said, we don't know how you don't have more extensive injuries. You're a very tough man, I guess.
Yeah.
You're very strong. We don't know what you do or what you eat, but lesser man could have been dead or hurt a lot worse. And but they put 7 staples in my head, which I'm about to get out tomorrow, and in a week's time, 7 days, 7 staples. And pretty achy right side of my body, including my shoulder and my thigh from where I made impact. But I'm really thankful and emerged from this.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing that I wanted to talk about, is just that, like, if that was anybody else, I really think they would have been seriously injured. Or maybe if your leg didn't get caught in that rail and you landed head first, then you probably wouldn't be here with us right now. But
the other crazy thing to note is, their automated part, they make automated parts from scratch. And what I learned from a worker afterwards, and what Beast told me too, is that no less than 2 feet from where I fell, the point of impact was a huge like a huge saw. Yeah. That they used to make parts. Yep. So if I would have landed on that, injuries probably would kind of worse.
Yeah, I was gonna get to that, but first wanted to say, it's just absolutely still very just crazy, the idea of falling 20 to 25 feet, nearly head first, and walking away like nothing happened. I mean, no broken bones, no sprained ankles, wrists, or anything else. No vertebrae damage. I mean, with how hard you landed. I mean, you didn't fall down on a mattress. You came straight down on concrete with absolute no control. And just to walk away with 7 staples, and for them to release you that night and say you're going to be out in a week, that's just incredible. And I think what I was going to get to is that it's a testament to a lot of great things that are happening at Break Free, and you being a vital piece to this organization, because within that week, we've already started to get so much good news about expansion, more and more people wanting to open up other Break Frees, and some of the conversations that we've always had are like, we need more people like you, we need more people like me to make sure that we can execute this, you know. And on that note, I just want to say, God protected you, man. Like you were so protected, because again, if that was anybody else, I think they'd be seriously injured. And then the next day, I remember one of the workers had came in from that business, and he was so concerned about you because they didn't know. Like, basically, after
thought I was dying.
Yeah, after you left, they thought you were dying, and so they were very concerned. They saw everything happen more than our team did, because we saw it after, right? And so he was very concerned. I know that he looked you up and researched you and found you that, you are this like well-known artist, B-boy, and that you do have a family, you got kids. And he said that once he found that out, that he couldn't even sleep at night, because, what he said is that when he saw you on the floor and you were nearly bleeding to death, he was like, wow, we're about to lose a human being right here, right in front of my eyes. And that he said it, I just could not sleep at night. And so he was like, I didn't have no communication about what was happening. I was trying to reach out to his wife. He said he found your wife on Instagram and basically got a hold of you guys. And but he also did mention that still his boss, a very traditional guy, the owner of that business, wanted to talk to us and wanted to talk to you, and especially wanted to talk to me because you work at Break Free. And so we were like, man, what's he gonna say,
Yeah.
And so so this is beyond, again, like, I think how you survived in so many different ways. So he came over, the boss came over, very traditional dude, old school white man, comes in and no emotion on his face, like, you're the owner? Yep. He work for you? Yep. Jeremy, right? I said, yep. How's he doing? Oh, he's good, man. Oh, man, just very blessed to be alive. He's at home. He's resting. He's good. Good. What was he doing up there? I said, man, he's an artist. Sometimes as artists, we do dumb things. And he goes, yep, very dumb. Stupid. He has no business being up there. I mean, just talking to me like that. And I'm trying to be positive over here, but also still, keep my professional side and make sure that, like, this guy doesn't piss me off, because at the same time it's like, dog, like, you're a human being. Like, come on, have some sympathy at least. And for the most part, he was just wanting to make sure you're okay in his way, right? And also make sure that, to let us know that this can't happen again. And obviously, like, we're not gonna go back up there again. But he also let me know that he said he's very, very lucky to be alive. And he goes, not just because of what you told me and he survived. He goes, we were minutes away from locking up. And we heard the crash, and our guys rushed to him, but literally almost nearly a foot out the door, about to lock up. And we heard the impact, and our guys ran over there and attended to him immediately. So one way, Jeremy, in essence, he was saying Jeremy got rescued, was that his team got to you pretty quickly and were able to try to stop the bleeding. And
I could have, like, if nobody was there, I could have got up and been disoriented and fainted or fell somewhere else.
Exactly, and went into panic mode, being locked inside of a place, and you don't know what's going on, right? So that could have been very bad. Second thing he said is that, in Texas, people can carry guns, and this guy said, he goes, if my alarm went off with movement, I'm coming in there and I'm shooting anything that's moving. And he was like, so Jeremy's very lucky. He was like, because that's my business. I've been in business for this many years, and I need to protect it. But I'm glad he's okay. And I'm just like,
he would have been on the news.
Like, damn, So he kind of blew my mind. Okay,
this,
I thought it went better than I thought it was gonna go.
Well,
he was gonna sue me or something.
The second after I got discharged, the second day, I went over to the business, and I wanted to offer my apologies and say thank you and meet them. After I got discharged, so I went over there. Funny thing is, they have a receptionist area, and I walk in, and the lady is there, and she's like, the Global Industries, how can I help you? And I said, oh, hi, I'm the man who fell through the roof. And she said, oh, yeah, MVP was with me too. And she goes, oh, okay, let me go get the owner. And
like, you're a ghost.
Yeah, and she went to go get the owner, and I forgot his name, but I offered my apologies, and he was understanding. He's a very traditional man, you could tell. So he has his legitimate concerns and wants to protect his business, but he gave me his well wishes. And I told him I apologize, and in retrospect, it was a foolish decision. And let me make it clear, it really was a foolish decision, and this is a lesson I had to learn the hard way. And it's not to say that not to take pictures, or I see some people in the chat like not to take risk if you're an artist. I'm still gonna be an artist, and I'm still gonna take risks, but it's just about knowing when the right place and when is the right time and when is the most importantly right place. And like you said, I learned a takeaway from it is if it's a place for you or not, if it's somewhere you should be, and I think I could have looked at the signs and known that I shouldn't have been up there. It can be filed sort of under a freak accident, like it's something I couldn't control. But I think there is some certain choices certain decisions and like pathways that I could have done to prevent this, you know. So
Well, you know, not to be selfish in so many ways, because it's going to sound selfish, but like also when you got hurt, I also thought about Break Free. I thought about Break Free because, you know, you are a vital piece of Break Free. And I remember calling my sister, and she told me he's going to be okay. He's going to be okay. You know, my sister's a strong believer in God, and she's just a firm believer in all things and all the great, you know, things we're doing at Break Free. And so she knew you were going to be okay. And at that time, I'm like, maybe she's just telling me because you're one of my best friends, and, you know, something happened and I'm kind of freaking out. But she was like assured, like she was like so positive, like he's fine, don't worry about it. I'm gonna go talk to the team, we'll be good, you go to the hospital or whatever. And I was like, all right, cool. But, you know, she brought up something the next day that was, you know, she said she had this crazy dream about you. And I think one of the most things that kind of stood out was that, you know, that when you fell, it was like almost supposed to happen. Like it was supposed to happen. Like
I believe that too.
Like it was significant to your life. It was.
It sounds weird, but yeah.
It was significant to your life to where don't let the man that fell be the same man that got up.
Yeah, that's something that really resonated with me, and shout out to Sam, your sister. She's always been a guidance for me and somebody as a wise figure in my life. And the biggest thing that resonated with me, and I told you this, was it was to the effect of the person that got up from that fall that day is the real Jeremy. And the reason you got up is the reason I know who you are. Who you are, you are who you are. You're a strong individual, you persevere, you're protected spiritually, and that's the reason why you got up. And in a way, let the bad things about you stay down, and the you know, with the person who fell and was unconscious, let the bad things about you stay down, and then the person who rose and the person who came from that be the person who lives the rest of your life. You know. So
it's just the timing. It's been crazy. You know, we had got some pretty crazy news about expansion, and we kind of been like trying to always figure out like, okay, you know, we're gonna need more of us. You know, and so, you know, for you to even like just think about like, man, there won't be a Jeremy, then this would be tough. You know, I always say, you know, you're very, like I said it a few times already, that you're a vital piece to this organization, that, you know, if something happens to you, you know, I feel like a lot happens to the organization. And so, and then you're also, you know, in the process of training other people, and, you know, with the opening of Break Free Kansas City, and you know, a lot, just everything that we have going on. And so for that to happen, it was just weird. Like it really blew my mind in so many different ways, especially spiritually, just because I think she was spot on when she said that, you know, you're protected, basically nothing can happen. And, you know, the man that fell, let that man stay down there, and then the man that got up, let that be that new man that's going to just continue to lead and provide and give direction to all these new people that we work with.
And to be perfectly candid too, man, and I learned a lot from this, and at the risk of sounding cliche, you know, I emerged from this a humbled man, and I emerged from this somebody who can really put his life into perspective and realize what's at stake. Like at this age, like I'm 26 years old, I have 2 children, a loving wife, building my family, and there's so much more at stake than what's on the surface. And even if I were to tell you right now, I can't even get into how much is at stake. And when I say that, I mean like from a position business-wise here at Break Free, position as a family man, from a position as an inspirational figure who people might look to me as somebody who they like dancing or the artistry, you know, like there's just so much at stake that can be lost in a single moment, just like that. And a theme and a word that is rung in my mind, and you guys put it in there first, is like, you're protected. So, you know, I'm a person who thinks a lot. So I hear that and I start to think, what does protected mean? What do I mean when I hear that? And to be perfectly candid, like past couple of months, I've really been having a call. Like I've been having this feeling in my gut that I need to spiritually foundation myself more, without, you know, going too far into it. Like when I was a teenager, when I was growing up, like I had a Catholic and a Christian upbringing, and I kind of lost my way of faith at some point in my early 20s, I would say, you know. Not that I've always had my faith in God, but as far as religion and following this and being an active practitioner of it, like I think I lost my way in certain ways, and I think I can pinpoint a lot of my downfalls and my wrongs because of that, because I've lost my way and I didn't have my spiritual foundation.
Yeah.
You know, so I look at it like that. When I hear protection, I look at, in moments like this, whether it's a fall from 20 feet or it's something emotionally that happens to you, what do you have that is going to save you? What are you going to have that protects you, that is there to catch you
Right.
on the way down from a metaphorical fall or an actual fall?
Yeah.
And it's spiritual foundation. It's your morals, it's your values, it's things that you build your life
Yeah.
upon, you know?
Yeah.
So this has kind of been like the freaking turning point, the final straw, if you will, for me to be like, all right, you've been having this feeling the past couple of months. You want to spiritually foundation yourself even stronger. So like,
Boom.
boom.
There you
there
go.
it is. You know.
What are you gonna do now?
And whether or not I was more active in my spirituality in my early 20s or teenagers, I've always been a big believer of everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Everything, and I think, you know, I'm not here trying to be a preacher or sermon and say follow Christianity or Catholicism or whatever, but whatever it is that you believe in, if you believe in God, you have to know that He puts things that you can handle, and He puts things in the right place for you, and He wouldn't give you something that you can't handle. And things happen for a reason. So I'm using this as something that just humbles me, that, you know, that changes me in the best ways. I don't want to be one of those. I never, even before this happened, I never like to be one of those people that, oh no, I'm the same person. They don't change me, you know?
Yeah.
I think change is good. So whether it's radical change, like falling from 20 feet and being humbled by it and things put in perspective, or if it's something little that you realize throughout the day in your everyday life that puts a little subtle change into it, man, change is good. So whether it's radical or subtle, man, change for the better is always going to be good for you.
And I agree with you 1,000%. And on that note, for everybody that knows me, they always know that I'm a strong believer in God. And you know, I always try to do right for people and do right for myself, do right for the business and all that. And for everybody that doesn't know, like we tonight it's about Break Free and the things that are happening within Break Free. But I've always said that as a kid, I've always had this calling. Like if God gave me this vision to create something very special for youth and for adults or anybody that wants to get involved with something positive and life changing, and I really believe that vision or that calling is Break Free, and that's why I followed it, and that's why I've never given up on it. And you know, you got to understand that it's hard when you create something and you have no direction, but you just have a call, and I'm just like, okay, where do I start? Where do I begin? What do I need? How much money? What's it going to cost? I think about all these things, and you know, Break Free is now going on 8 years. We're about a 7.5-year mark right now, and it's been very, very difficult. You know, I've probably woke up, I don't know how many times throughout those 7 years, probably every day, and I'm like, why am I still doing this? Because it's so tough. You know, a lot of people don't see the sacrifices, the compromises that I've had to make with people. You know, how many people I've lost in my life, how many people have entered the kind of what I call the Break Free organization and left and being talked about and doing all this. And you know, it's been tough because, you know, I care a lot about people and I care a lot about the vision of Break Free. But what I'm trying to get to is that I care so much about the vision of Break Free, and I care about so much about the calling that I feel like God has given me, that anybody that steps foot on the foundation of what Break Free represents and step foot will always be protected, because it's not coming from like a place where I wanted to build something to make crazy money off of. You know, I believe that that we're destined for it, because we're going to do a lot more great things when we do get to that point, right? But anybody that steps foot and protects this calling or protects this vision will be protected. And that was one of the things that I kept thinking about that night. And I'm like, wow, God truly protected a vital organ to the body of Break Free, right? You're a vital organ, and God basically protected that, whatever happened that day. And so it started to all come together, especially with you know, recent happenings that have been going on at Break Free. And I talked about expansion, but you know, we're in the process of potentially, and I know I say this a lot, but I hate to use the word potential, because it means, to me, it means probably. And I'm more of like, it's gonna happen. You know what I mean?
No, what you're saying.
You know, it's gonna happen. But we're on the verge of global expansion, opening up Break Frees worldwide. We're finally positioning ourselves to open up more break free schools and programming all over the world that can bring so much more opportunity to people. And at the same time, there's people that don't want that to happen because they want us to fail, right? They want us to suffer with and drown from failure and just don't want nothing good to happen to you, myself, anybody part of the team, or Break Free as a whole. But I just feel like we're destined for something greater, and I've been telling you guys, I've been telling the team every single day that like it's literally around the corner. I can feel it.
Yeah,
I can feel it. And in the past year and a half, we've seen a growth like we've never seen before. And every day we get like more and more good news about new partnerships, new strategic partnerships, new relationships that are going to help catapult and position Break Free into this global market, right? And so with that being said, I feel like there's going to be all these little attacks happening, and I think that it started with you, and they couldn't take out a vital organ, or I say they, it's like what I mean is like whoever's trying to come against what Break Free is doing, right? That it's just not going to happen because the vision is protected, and you're a part of that vision. Another thing too is like for everybody that doesn't know and everybody that's listening or watching, every Friday, every last Friday of the month, we do an event called Monster Night, which is basically sponsored by Monster Energy. Shout out to Monster Energy. We do monthly jams for the community. We don't charge anything. We're always giving away cash, free drinks to everybody. Good time, DJs, sometimes live bands, Free Radicals, shout out to Free Radicals. And so we do this every last Friday of the month. And so this Friday, this past Friday was the last Friday of the month, and still drained from, our team had just came back from doing some shows in Orlando. On Wednesday, the day we arrive, that accident happens with you. And so we're dealing with that from Wednesday to Thursday and even till Friday, leading up to Monster Night, just to make sure you're still okay. I remember you took a couple of days off or a day off to rest, and we really encouraged it. And then we had the grand opening in Kansas City on Saturday night. So we have a lot going on that week. There was so much Break Free happenings that it was like, okay, how do we control this? How do we manage it with being drained so much about all these things that are trying to stop us from doing it? Because on Friday night, Monster Night, packed house, probably the most packed it has been in a while. And so we appreciate the community coming out and supporting us there. But what I want to get to is that night, we were getting ready to leave to Kansas City. We had our van. We own a van here that we can tour with, and we were literally going to pack up and jump in and drive to Kansas City as a team, you included, to go out there and support the grand opening of Break Free KC. And literally an hour and a half before Monster Night opens up, I get a call. One of my good friends, Zuriel, who had literally just got off the phone like three days ago, inviting him to my house to do a barbecue and just hang out. Zuriel was an OG member of Havoc before we became Havoc Coral. Very dear friend, brother to my family and my life, and got a call that he passed away, and just unexpectedly. And so now, being drained from, touring to Orlando, coming right back, your accident, having a successful Monster Night, and then during Monster Night, I get this call about my friend passing away. I had to cancel the trip to Kansas City just because I didn't feel it right. I didn't feel right in my gut. I didn't feel right in my spirit. I didn't want to be on the road and just thinking about everything that we got going on. Mentally it could drain you even more, and that could lead to an accident, with so many people in a van. So I was like, I just didn't feel it was right. So
it was the right decision.
I think it was the right decision. So we decided to fly out Anthony, who's Beast, and Cosmo, who's our facility manager at Break Free. We flew them out, and they did an awesome job, and I'm so glad that we made that decision to fly them out and participate.
Shout out to Kevin and Suge and the whole Kansas City team. Man.
Yeah, for sure.
For those that don't know, our first official franchise is pretty much up and running, and these guys are doing amazing, and their numbers they're pulling in this first month is nothing short of a success. And,
definitely. And
I've told them this, they kind of are making us look bad because their facility is really, really dope, man. It's Break Free, but it's like, they did, if you've ever been to Break Free, we have the paint splatter floor, right? But they did a super fresh concept with it, with some dope murals in the DJ room. They're offering DJing and breaking to to start off, and they already have about 20 registered students within their first month, man.
Yeah,
So,
and they're not even open yet.
and they're not even open yet, man.
Yeah.
But and yeah, hearing that too, man. And I never knew Ziriel. I've always heard you say his name, man.
Mhm.
It's kind of like a legend, and,
Yeah.
and like how dope he was when he would break.
Mhm.
But I think what's worth saying and putting in perspective is to dial back and remember when Nat passed away.
Yeah.
And it's not the same exact circumstances, but I know what hits you hard. And for people to know, worth people knowing is that when Nat did pass away, he was just at Break Free a week before he passed away.
Yeah,
and,
he was,
and from a long absence, he wasn't around. He and you had seen him, and he came to
yeah,
Break
good
Free.
3 or 4 years,
And
maybe
he-
longer.
Yes, and he came to Break Free, and then a week later we got news that he passed away. And
Yeah.
then kind of the same story with Ziriel. He hasn't been around for a while. Then you hear from him, and then next week he passes away.
And that's what I wanted.
He stated he wanted to come to Break Free. And
So that was what I wanted to get to in terms of like all these positive changes, at Break Free, and there's always these little negative attacks trying to take away from the momentum that we're building. And I literally just heard like day before yesterday that Zuriel had told his mom, because he was found dead right out front in his mom's house. Cause of death, don't know yet, but he was found dead in front of his mom's house. But before he went out, he had told his mom that he was going to come see me at Monster Night, that he was going to come to Break Free. I just found this out.
I didn't know that.
And yeah, it's pretty crazy. And just connecting the dots to all that is just pretty amazing to me. But what I get to that, you brought up Nat. So when Nat had came back, he was like, Moy, I know you're into this fitness, this stuff now. You're training hard.
I remember.
I want you to train me. I want you to train me every other day.
We were hard into it.
So we were hard into it. Nat started coming out, started training him. And I remember he was texting me the night before, and then the next morning, he gets hit by a drunk driver. And what I take from Nat's case, and I know all these are probably freak. I don't know. I still don't know. Anybody can put their own judgmental thought into it, but what I get from it is that I just think that Break Free is such a positive and such a blessed atmosphere and environment that like this negative spirit, or let's just say the devil, or whoever you think it's out there to get you, was really trying to pull away people from entering this positive atmosphere, this positive environment. Because the same thing, when Zuriel would call me when he needed advice or encouragement, because he knew that he can get it from me, and so he was coming to Monster Night to get that, and he didn't make it, and so it's crazy, man, to think about all this, because it can really set you back. But I'm just thankful that God has made me a very level-headed person, and throughout everything that I've been through my life, even losing my parents and my daughter being diagnosed with autism, to all the recent happenings, there's this message, is that regardless of what it is that we've been dealing with or what we've been going through, there's always a way to persevere. If there's an end goal, then you're aiming at something. Just keep aiming, keep aiming, keep aiming. I saw a meme the other day too, because I've always been one of those people that it would bother me when people would say something. I mean this probably stopped 2-3 years ago. It doesn't bother me no more. But like I saw a meme the other day that it says that for all the people that left my life, and you think that it's bothering me, I lost two of the closest people to my life, my parents, and I'm doing just fine.
Yeah.
So at this point, we can only focus on the core and the people that have a direct impact to our life, and the calling and the vision that we're on, and I truly believe that that's going to generate success. And that's why I wanted tonight to be a kind of a game-changing opportunity for Break Free, and for listeners and watchers and viewers, that Break Free is on a different road. The way we do things it's not like every other dance studio. We're literally changing the game. We're a very corporate structured entity that is out there to do more and more for our community and provide more job opportunities, especially just recently with this expansion deal and everything that we're doing. There's pretty much nothing that can stop us.
Yeah.
There isn't. At this point, it's just a matter of just, riding the wave and making sure that our team has our heads down and are just focused on the wave and the vision. And I truly believe that we're going to be protected all the way.
I want to add this. I want to add that the reason why you are saying break free is protected, break free is good, nothing can ever come against us, and we're doing this, and this wave is going, and there's nothing to stop it. I want to explain why I personally feel why that is so, and I believe 1,000% in what you're saying, and I probably could speak for yourself when I say this, but the reason why it is protected, and the reason why it's not because we're chosen, and it's nothing to do with that. What it has to do with is with, again, the spiritual foundation of break free and what is at stake when we talk about break free or we talk about our personal lives. So I talked about myself, and obviously as a father and as a husband, I have lives at stake, that depend on me, whether it be for food, nourishment, teachings, or
Right.
love when it comes to my wife, But when it comes to break free, there's so much at stake that people don't understand.
Hundreds of lives.
On so many levels, from the students' lives to how they're impacted from the teachings of Isaiah and Julian, and now in Kansas City with Shug and everybody up there, to the employees' lives for how I'm able to eat and how I'm able to provide, going back to my kids, So like the indirect nature of Break Free and its livelihood feeds my kids and feeds so many others' kids, and now it's going to impact so many other lives around the world, and that is what's at stake, and that's what we're talking about. So I think when you create something that feeds so many people, and I'm not even talking about money or food, but like even spiritually feeds them and gives them something. It's something that would be protected by God or whatever you want to call it. Like whatever it is you want to call it, it's going to be something that is just good and righteous and perseveres through anything.
Right.
So I want to give clarification into that, and I think, the human nature is we really tend to forget things, and it's hard for humans to retain certain knowledge and not have to be reminded through symbolism or events through certain things, And in my case, me falling 25 feet was a really radical agent of change that made me put things in perspective and realize what's at stake for me. And if I have one message for tonight, is don't try not to let something like this, something so radical or even something so subtle, not have something that you lived every day through. And that's live for a greater purpose. Be a pillar of your community. Be your own boss. Go out there and provide and create opportunities for people and create love and life and do that for some people other than yourself.
Right.
And at the end of the day, that is why we say what we say. That's why we say break free is protected, and that's why we persevere through everything. At the end of the day, that's why we do this, man. And when you set out to do this, and when you brought me on board, I didn't even know that's why I wanted to do this. Yeah. I just love breaking. I love art. I wanted to come on and do something.
At that point, there was nothing at stake for you.
There was nothing at stake. But I didn't even know that. I never would have thought in my wildest dreams in 1,000 years that it would be to where it's at now. But that's the beautiful part of it.
It is.
And now that we do know where we're at and where we're going, that's where the protection comes from, and that's where we harness ourselves down and get to work.
Yeah, and those are all awesome points, because Break Free is responsible for a lot of people right now, and it's such a blessing to see, just from at a smaller level, when you see parents walking in their kids into a class, whether it be breaking, DJing, or art. A lot of us didn't experience our parents walking us into a class to do something that we wanted to do, right? I know I didn't experience that, so that's a blessing in itself, and that there's a lot at stake, and just for that. But you're absolutely right, man, and the end goal is we're responsible for a lot of people, and we're going to continue to be responsible for a lot of people as this expands and this grows. We need the right leaders in place. We need the right system in place. We need the right structure, and we need the right spiritual foundation to make sure that there is a stronghold of protection that is going to just continue to guide us in this global expansion, and reach this on a worldwide level where so many lives are impacted, just how our lives been impacted here in Houston.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, it's been a crazy week, dude. It's been a wild week, and again, blessing to have you here. Because if you fell on your head, dude, you would not be here right now. I'll tell you that much right now.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go back and I watch that video and I'm just like, wow. And then I start doing the little back and forth thing where it shows you falling.
The boomerang.
The little boomerang. And
Someone make a gif of it.
But dude, like, yeah. It's,
but what you said something that kind of has been since the fall. Has kind of I haven't explicitly said it to myself or said it out loud, but like it was a humbling experience and it put things into perspective. And I can look at not my quote unquote former self or pre-fall, who I was before that. And this is a big thing I think with artistry and especially with social media nowadays, is that so many people are worried about the wrong things. And when I say the wrong things, most likely that is worried about what other people think, or another next man's opinion, or another next person's what they're making, their money, like just worrying about people other than yourself, or and then the people who you can call your true family, your true friends.
Right.
And I think that's one of the biggest life lessons and something that will stand the test of time and always be true. Is you need to honor yourself, you need to honor your friends and your family and those people you truly can call your friends and your family, man. Yeah. And I can say since that fall, like I don't know if it was something in my brain that was hit, but like I don't think about these things as often as I did pre-fall. Like I don't worry so much about what another person thinks, and I think that's going to help me in all aspects of my life, whether it be with my family or my work or creativity. And I think that's normally, if you're listening out there, that's what's blocking you. Yeah. Like if you have a problem, more often than not, it's a problem that doesn't even exist. It's something that you created, or it's a problem that has a simple solution. Right. It's a very simple solution, and it most likely boils down to you coming from your heart and not worrying about, someone else's opinion or what other people think, whether it's online on social media or in person,
Yeah, and so, on that note, everybody listening, just want to say, man, just regardless of your struggles, where you come from, what you're dealing with, there's always room to persevere. A lot of people get so caught up. They get so caught up in like Jeremy said, creating problems that don't exist. You read something on social media, you watch something on social media, and you immediately tie that it's an attack to you. But who are you? What makes you so important that everything is directly to you? You know what I mean? Focus, like Jeremy said, focus on you and carry out your vision, carry out your calling. And I truly believe, from personal experience, that's what I've been doing my whole life, and I truly believe I've been successful in the things that I do because I just focus on the calling, I focus on the vision, and I focus on what is next for my life, right? Focus on what is next. So for everybody, there's room to persevere. There's, you don't have to sit in a dark place. You don't have to sit in a place where you're starting to think about everything else that's going wrong. There's always something that's a lot more positive than that wrong. And I remember when my parents passed, it was so easy to get depressed and get sad, but I always thought about the great things that my parents had taught me to, just keep going, or whatever that was to keep you going. And everybody has that room in their body, in their system, in their mind, in their heart, in their life, whatever you want to call it. Everybody has that. And, we're not preachers, we're not motivational speakers, but we do live this life to the fullest, and we are honoring a calling, we're honoring a vision, and we're protecting what we do already, and we're protecting a lot of people. The kids that are next door right now learning how to break, learning how to DJ, learning how to do graffiti art, like we just want to protect their calling, whether it's their passion or what, even if it's temporary, like for that temporary time, love on them and mentor them and give them the best time of their life, because just like that, everything can switch, and I always say, don't ever be one decision from losing everything. All it takes is one bad choice, and we have that free will, right? So sometimes we make stupid decisions, sometimes we make great ones.
Don't step on that skylight.
Yeah, so watch your step and
watch your step.
Don't climb roofs.
What would you have said at my funeral if you would?
Man, I don't know if I could talk. Nah, I don't know, man. I don't even talk about that. But listen. So,
man, he was a handsome fella. He was very handsome. He had a way with words.
Stupid handsome fella. Stupid. But yo, check this out, y'all. Like, it's been an awesome time just talking about the recent happenings at Break Free. We appreciate all the love and the support, that you guys give Jeremy. He's gonna battle this weekend, and he's out of his mind. But It's part of the game, man. You know, at the end of the day, it all continues. And if you're able to,
my wife, she doesn't want me to battle.
if you're able to get up, every single day, take a deep breath, have both of your arms, both of your legs.
Yes.
Man,
live by an honor, man. Live by an honor. Live by a code.
Be productive. Do something positive. Make change, man. It's easy to complain about the things that we don't like, but if you're not doing anything to change it, then you're just gonna keep complaining.
Yep.
And so, on that note, man, want to end this special evening of this Game Changers Break Free Edition podcast with episode 15 with Jeremy. You know, sitting in basically the guest seat, and I'm sitting in his seat, and so it was cool.
To change that next week.
It was cool to switch it up.
Next week we're going back.
Speaking of next week, so next week we got a very special guest, Houston icon, Spoiled Latina. Make sure you follow her on Instagram at Spoiled Latina. Female entrepreneur that is changing the game here in Houston and bringing a lot of opportunities to females and males throughout the city. And so check back next Tuesday for episode 16 featuring Yvonne, who is also known as Spoiled Latina. On that note,
free parent too. Her son used to take classes there.
Yep. And on that note, want to shout out our sponsors, Monster Energy, for keeping us fueled. Make sure you get this one. This is my favorite, the Dragon Fruit Monster Energy. And shout out to Houston Media Source for helping us connect to the world, providing all this nice equipment and making things happen for this Break Free podcast. So we appreciate you guys. Follow us at Break Free Podcast, at Break Free Worldwide. Much love, peace, and God bless.
You want to go take some pictures?
Let's go do it.
All right.
Have you ever wanted to have your own TV show? We can make that happen at Houston Media Source. When you walk in the door, all you need is an idea. We have everything you need. Studios, cameras, lights, microphones, and more. All professional quality and state-of-the-art. Get started by attending one of our free orientation sessions every Monday at 6 p.m. at our studios at 410 Roberts near Minute Maid Park. Get more information online at hmstv.org. Make your voice heard with Houston Media Source.